So, to me, I think that half the reason they got along well so much is because they were forced to live together. Now, they had their ups and their downs, they fought a lot, and we'll see that a little later. But altogether, I think, because of the fact that they had to live with each other, they were forced to deal with each other's problems, and forced to get to know each other. So, that's sort of what my speech is on. Living alone versus living with roommates. Now, who currently has a roommate? All right, who doesn't have a roommate? All right, those of you who do have a roommate, do you guys like it for the most part? Sometimes? What are some bad things about living with a roommate?
You sleep with the TV on.
Okay. All right. So, I also currently have a roommate, so I kind of, well, 3. So I kind of know what you guys are going through. We have some good things and some bad things. So my purpose of my speech is I'm going to show you guys that it's almost always beneficial to have a roommate. There are some ups and downs, but overall I think that it's a good thing to have a roommate. And also it's throughout all ages. So children, people in high school, when you're in college especially, which is what I'll go over most, and then when you're an adult, and in other contexts as well, I think roommates are a good thing. Alright, so children. Sharing is caring. We all were taught when we were a kid that you should share your toys, you should share this, share that. But when you're forced to live in a room with one of your siblings, you know that best. You kind of have to share your room. Not everything is yours. So it's a good lesson to learn, and it's a perfect way to learn it just by throwing them in the room together. Now, Monsters Inc. Little kids are afraid of monsters. So if you put them in a room with one of their little brothers or sisters, if the monster's there, their brother or sister can save them from it. So that's another good thing about having a roommate as a child. Siblings often enjoy the companionship of having their brother or sister sleeping nearby, according to Virginia Schiller. She's a licensed clinical psychologist. And so it is comforting knowing that there's someone else there, that you're not always alone, especially when it's dark when you're a kid. It gets scary sometimes, especially when you're afraid of the dark. So having someone else there is kind of comforting. Alright, so teenagers. When you're a teenager, I know you're not going to really want to live with another person, but when you do, it's also good, because when you're living with someone that's your own age, so if you're in high school, you can study with each other, you can talk to each other. You can be study buddies, so like if you have a question, they're just in the room already, so you don't have to like go running around the house to try to find them, so you can ask them a question. Sister Sister is a really good example. They had an episode where they decided that they were going to have separate rooms, and they were super excited about it, but then when they realized they were separate and they had to go back and forth to talk to each other, and they couldn't just, turn to their left and just say, everything they wanted to, and they found it hard to keep in touch more and tell each other everything that was going on in their lives. So now when we get to the college roommates, most of us know this, that college living can be kind of crazy, especially if you're in a dorm and you're living like really, really close to people. They can get hygiene issues, all sorts of stuff. So I live in an apartment, so I'm going to talk about that a lot. So friendship and companionship. Your roommate, according to apartmentratings.com, your roommates can become your best friends. So me personally, I moved in with 3 people that I don't know. Well, I didn't know at the time, and they're my best friends now. We all love each other. While one person is transferring, the other 2 are going to live in a house, and I'm going to live in an apartment still, we still all end up being really close friends, because we just made a really strong bond that we don't want to break. Rent. Now, with apartments, you can have your own lease, but most places are just a cumulative rent, and everyone has to kind of put in their own portion. So say it's $5,000 a month, which is pretty expensive. If you're living there alone, that's $5,000. But if you're living there with 4 other people, it's only $1,000 per person. So it's a pretty good way of breaking up the rent. Chores. Now everyone hates doing dishes and cleaning, and if you're living by yourself, it's all your responsibility. But according to leavingthefolks.com, you have shared responsibilities around your place. So you can break up the chores. So say one person does dishes, one person vacuums. Or you can switch around weeks. Like I know right now in our apartment, we decided that it would probably be a good idea to clean our floor more often, because it's really gross. And so we take turns, and each of us have a week to do it. So it's pretty good. It kind of sucks when it's your week, but it gets done. Privacy, or lack thereof. Now in dorms, you guys are all living like in real close quarters, most of you, probably, right? You guys live really close to your roommate? Well, that can get real annoying if you're leaving the TV on, or he snores, or he decides to have a girl over, because that can get awkward. So we know that at an apartment, I personally have my own bedroom. So everyone has their own bedroom and bathroom. So if someone's bringing someone home every night, or they snore, or they're leaving their TV on, you're good, because you just close your door and you can't hear anything. According to Associated Content, which is a website that has articles written by professionals, the upsides of living alone are privacy, no restraints on the space, cleaning up after only yourself, and doing pretty much what you want when you want to do it. So that's why I talked about apartments, because that's an alternative that can solve that problem. That if you're a person that likes to be alone, you can still benefit from having a roommate by living in a 2-bedroom apartment, so that way each person can have their own space, but you're still benefiting from having an apartment. Especially if you have like a shared living room and kitchen, that way you're always having to go to that common area, and you have to deal with your roommate more often in areas you like. Roommates in other contexts. This movie, The Bucket List. These two guys were in the hospital room together. Often in hospitals they don't have, unless you're really, really sick and contagious, they usually have people in a room with another person. Because when you're sick, you kind of want to know that there's someone there for you. Even if it's not your family member or your doctor at all times, you still have someone there that's also going through the same thing. That's another good reason to have a roommate. So in conclusion, I'm going to maybe go a little bit farther, but we'll see. So in conclusion, I hope that you see that having a roommate, while it does have its downs, mainly is beneficial for reasons of sharing chores and rent and companionship, and just for fun. Another good part of having a roommate is you can whisper each other late at night and talk about funny stuff, and even if you are talking about bad stuff, good stuff. Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah, so this is gonna work. We'll see.
Are you awake? Yeah. I just want you to know I hate you. So does my dad. Well, that's fine. Because guess what? I hate you too. And this house sucks ass. Well, the only reason you're living here is because me and my dad decided that your mom is really hot. Maybe we should just both make her. Now we'll put up with the retard in the meantime. Who's the retard? You.
Hey, y'all don't say that.
Shut up.
Alright, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed